and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star of boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Did you think you was really going to beat him up that way?
Yes. I've been told you this. I told you this a minute ago. I said he's not on my level.
Max Kellerman is leaving zero room for debate. He's been loud, unapologetic, and controversial, declaring that Shakur Stevenson's latest performance wasn't merely a win, but a historic masterclass that stands alongside the all-time greats. He's doubling down on the Floyd-Mayweather comparison, arguing that the sweet science remains the most lethal weapon in the sport. This isn't simple commentary. It's a proclamation of a new era, and Kellerman is fully prepared to defend his boldest take against anyone who challenges it.
The truth is, I know what you mean, that Teo was a lights-out puncher at 135 pounds. Once he moved up to 140, it was much more of the footwork and hit you with punches you don't see and win on points than it was the destructive guy at the lighter weight. Terrence Crawford, guys, posted the following on his social media. Okay, quote, "I don't know it all, but what I do know is Shakur Stevenson beating the bleep out of Teofimo Lopez." Now, Shakur Stevenson might box the bleep out of guys. He doesn't really beat the bleep out of anybody. What do we think of this?
Here's what makes Kellerman's reaction so compelling. He didn't see this coming at all. In the build-up to the fight, Max was actually the voice of caution, warning anyone who would listen that Teofimo Lopez posed a real threat to Shakur. He highlighted Teofimo's explosive power and his proven ability to rise to the occasion against elite opponents like Lomachenko. But the instant the final bell sounded, Max's tone made a complete 180 degrees turn. He admitted live on air that he had misjudged the threat, not because Teofimo fought badly, but because Shakur simply never allowed him to fight at all.
You seem to make it look real easy tonight. You know, it was, it had to be very frustrating for T.O.
Keyshawn, at the party.
Why do you think it was difficult for T.O. to make adjustments to you? Like, why?
Why? I think that, I studied them. I've been watching him for years. I seen T.O. when we was in the amateurs. Everything that I seen was there tonight. Like the things that I kind of saw on tape and on film, it was all in front of me tonight. And there is benefits from watching tape.
When we saw Conor being in the ring with you and the idea of you two fighting, for British fans, it would come as a bit of a curveball. You now have 4 different weight world titles and Conor's not boxed for a world title yet. What's going on between you two? Why is that a fight that you like?
I'm into big fights. I like big fights. I like big money fights. I like proving that I'm the best, and I like doing things that people say I can't do. There's a lot of people that will say that I'm too little for Conor Ben, and I can't do it. So it makes for a tremendous fight.
And Eddie mentioned that there's quite a few that DMs go back and forth between you two. Is it all amicable? Is there a bit of aggro going on?
It's gonna be a good beef. I like the beef. I like the story behind it, and it's a tremendous fight.
This wasn't about Shakur surviving a war. It was a technical dismantling that made an elite champion look ordinary. Max realized his pre-fight analysis missed the most crucial factor: Shakur's ability to neutralize. It's a rare skill possessed by only a handful of fighters in history. When you face Shakur, your best weapons don't just fail, they vanish. Max stressed that Shakur outboxed and outthought Lopez to such an extent that the danger everyone anticipated had completely evaporated by the second round.
Teofimo Lopez didn't have any answer for the lead hand, the jab of Shakur. And even before the fight started, you saw Teo come out with Jabberwockies, and he was doing a lot of, dancing, and on his face, though, kind of the joy and the happy and the smirk that you saw yesterday at the weigh-ins. There was a lot of mind games all week from Teo to Shakur, making him wait, trying to get in his head. It looked like he kind of did at the press conference, but like I've said many of times, the press conference does not have any effect on the fight itself, right? The best fighters will show up when the time comes. They'll adjust. They'll be able to showcase why they're the best. And tonight, Shakur looked a lot more comfortable even in his ring walk, let alone when the fight started. But when it did start, you saw very quickly 2 things. Teofimo Lopez was going to have real problems with the hand speed of Shakur Stevenson, his lead hand, and that Teofimo wanted 2 really specific things early in this fight. Number one, he clearly wanted to land his big right hand over the top. of 1 or 2 punches, then switch to southpaw and try to land the left hand while covering distance. And it was I won't say basic, a fundamental problem with that attack from Teofimo Lopez. He was having getting to Shakur Stevenson. He could not get past the lead hand. The jab was stifling him. He was having trouble cutting the ring. He was having trouble getting to the outside foot. This was an orthodox southpaw matchup where Teofimo needed to step to his left to try to push the lead hand away, or at least get head off center line if he wanted to throw. Instead, he was doing the opposite, and Shakur was taking the outside track. Teo was stepping on the inside lane and then fading to his right side, right into the left hand of Shakur Stevenson, which, by the way, in the first round, Shakur didn't really even throw a backhand. It was just jab. And every time he would touch him with the jab, Teo had to reset and reset.
Of course, you can't get a Max Kellerman take without a Stephen A. Smith rebuttal, and this fight perfectly exposed the classic divide in boxing fandom. While Max was geeking out over the technical brilliance, Stephen A. Smith leaned heavily into the entertainment angle. For the casual fan, a fight where one boxer barely gets touched can feel slow, even boring, and Stephen A. voiced that perspective, craving drama, brawls, and fireworks. But Max held his ground, and the debate grew heated. He argued that what we witnessed was the absolute highest level of the sweet science. He defended the absence of a knockout by stressing just how difficult Shakur's performance truly was, dominating a dangerous puncher like Teofimo Lopez so completely that he becomes hesitant to even throw is, in many ways, more impressive than a lucky knockout. Max's point was unmistakable. If perfection bores you, you're not watching the sport closely enough. This wasn't a lack of action. It was the total suffocation of an opponent's offense.
The guy who might put him in a dogfight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody. That night I fought John Ruiz, I didn't care who was over there. Whoever they brought out that locker room was going to get it. You understand me? That's just what it was.
Things went even deeper when Max sat down with the legendary Roy Jones Jr. for the Inside the Ring segment. This is where the breakdown shifted from pure physical speed to psychological warfare. Roy Jones Jr., a man who knows exactly how to make elite opponents look helpless, explained how Shakur dismantled his opponent mentally. It wasn't just that Shakur was faster, it was that he was processing information faster. Every time Teofimo so much as twitched a muscle, Shakur was already gone.
One of the big problems coming into this fight that you wondered was, Williams Zepeda didn't really give Shakur trouble. In my mind, I was there live watching that fight, and Shakur kind of handled all that adversity from Williams Zepeda. Handled a lot of adversity there. But the difference in that fight and this one was Zepeda was there with combination. Right? He wouldn't just throw 1 or 2 punches at a time. He would throw 3, 4, and 5. And maybe once in a blue moon, a couple would get through and Shakur might get touched with something that you usually don't see him get hit with. Teofimo Lopez doesn't fight like that. He fights very selective on the front foot and the back foot. And again, Teo's probably a better back foot fighter than he is a front foot fighter. But he wanted to come out early and make a statement, so he was trying to bring it to Shakur. I think he gave up a little bit of his game too quickly, because in the first round, Teo was throwing heavy right hands over the top. Then that double right hand switch to go to the left hand out of southpaw, and Shakur saw it all early. And if you hear, some of the post-fight stuff, Shakur was like, I thought he was fast, and he wasn't. Shakur was like, he was way slower than I thought. Teo was reaching a lot. Teo was overstriding a lot. He wasn't bringing his feet with him, and it made it easier for Shakur. He would just frame with his lead hand, keep the distance, which he does such a good job of. If you move forward, he moves back. You cut an angle, he cuts an angle, right? He just mirrors what you do. And the moment you make a mistake or overcommit, he touches you with the lead hand. That's first line of defense. You get past, hold the left hand behind it. Shakur was schooling him. And again, I said a minute and a half of the stream, I was just like, oh no, this is gonna go very badly for Teofimo Lopez. And it did, man. It's just round after round, Teo could not figure out this equation, could not get past the lead hand of Shakur Stevenson. And there were moments where it wasn't just the jab of Shakur, he was sticking the left hand on him. And no, Shakur doesn't have the biggest power in the world, and no, he may not be the most casual audience-friendly fighter, but he is damn good as a boxer. And he is, I don't want to say Floyd Mayweather-esque, but it's the same formula. When you watch him box, you may not like his style, you may not like that he doesn't sting and punish people the way you would want to see somebody counterpunch. But I don't know there's a style that beats him.
By the middle rounds, the frustration was visibly boiling in Teofimo's eyes. He looked lost. Max pointed out that this is the most devastating way to lose. When you get knocked out, you can blame a lucky punch, but when you're fully conscious, giving everything you have, and still can't touch the man in front of you, it shatters your spirit. The duo broke down the mental warfare at play. Shakur used distance not only as defense, but as a tool to frustrate Teofimo into making desperate mistakes that were then calmly and efficiently punished. It was a slow, painful suffocation of Teofimo's confidence.
When life comes at you, it'll come at you in many ways, and you gotta treat it like a champ. That's it. You gotta treat it like a champ. Tell yourself it's okay. I learned from it, and I treat it like a champ every time. So, if you're going through hard times in your life, whether it's from any sports or academics or anything like that, it's okay. You're still a champ.
Throughout watching the fight week, a lot of people were saying that you were in Shakur's head.
Yeah.
It definitely seemed like that. Do you think maybe there was a chance that you maybe used up too much energy in the build-up to the fight?
No, not at all. I think honestly, it's just the way things played out, the cards that were at hand. The dealer, I was gambling, and the dealer didn't play my cards right. That's all.
Talk to me about the fight itself. Just what was it like in there? How come you didn't really feel like you could get into the rhythm as such? I mean, just your perspective on it.
Yeah, I think I was just honestly too focused on one particular objective, one particular thing, than really enjoying what I could see opening. I was catching him a lot with the body shots a lot, so I think that was one of my effective arsenals that was getting him every time. But I think just more combinations, especially finishing with left hooks and stuff. I did poorly on not listening to my team. That's on me. Take it on the chin. My team did a phenomenal job. They had great guidelines. They had great instructions. I just didn't listen.
If you think Max was just indulging in hyperbole, the true legends of the sport backed him completely. Heavyweight icon Lennox Lewis didn't mince words. He stated that Shakur moved so well he likely won every single round. Think about that. Against a fighter of Teofimo's caliber, Lennox Lewis couldn't identify even a brief 3-minute stretch where Lopez looked competitive at the elite level of the sport.
Action of it. Man, let me tell you, Shakur moved so well. He won every round, and he was just a step ahead with quickness and just with, just the plan himself. Great plan coming in, and he did well. Congratulations to him.
He won all the rounds? Is that what you're saying? He won all 12 rounds?
Well, maybe he lost one, but he won the majority of rounds.
At what time did you realize that this was just going to be Shakur taking over the whole fight?
After the fourth round.
After the fourth round?
Yeah.
Teofimo, it seems like he couldn't just get it going. Like he just tried differently going up and down. The counters were getting him.
Yeah.
What could he done differently tonight?
I don't know. It's difficult to box against a great mover like that. And, he tried. He definitely tried. His dad was emotional. He wanted him to do better, but, this is boxing.
At least you look at Shakur as a type of fighter who go up to welterweight and challenge the likes of Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, those fighters as well too, and beat them.
Yeah, he has that possibility. He can do that. I don't know about moving up weights and different things because I'm a heavyweight, but he...
Then there's Paulie Malignaggi, who labeled the performance a masterclass of epic proportions. Paulie admitted that while he expected Shakur to win, the sheer ease with which he did it was next level. This kind of validation from the old guard matters. It proves the Mayweather comparison isn't just television chatter meant to fill airtime. The fighters who have shared the ring with the very best are seeing exactly what Max is seeing. A boxer who has truly solved the puzzle of boxing.
Freaking masterclass beyond epic proportions. I thought Shakur might do something like this, but even this exceeded my expectations. I thought it may be, if Shakur had a really good night, make it look easy and win 9-3, 10-2. This was 12-0, 11-1, and I mean, it was next level type stuff. Teo was trying everything. The various wrinkles to Shakur's style are unbelievable. I mean, I know people like to say he runs. That's because they don't understand what they're watching. I rarely, in my mind, have I ever seen Shakur literally run. Is he defensive? Yes, because he doesn't open up into crazy offensive routines. Okay, yes, so that makes him defensive, but he never really runs. So he's a master of position. I'm always trying to talk about and explain to people that being a master of position is so important, not breaking your position. And what I mean by that is when you make a defensive move, you're not all over the place, to where now you can't punch off any move you make. When your position is great, Doesn't necessarily mean you punch every time you make a defensive move, but every defensive move you make leaves you balanced enough and in a position enough to be able to punch if you want to, if you have the option to punch. And your opponent sees that, and that's why your opponent doesn't attack as aggressively, because sometimes they do get countered, sometimes they don't. You keep them guessing, but your position is always a position that you can punch off of. When guys aren't great at position, even when they make guys miss or whatever, they'll wind up in contorted position situations where we're not able to punch. That's not a really great defensive fighter, and a lot of times they wind up running and going to flight and so on and so forth. That leads to those kind of lapses where pressure fighters
There's a persistent criticism that Shakur is a runner or that his style puts fans to sleep, but this latest victory completely shatters that narrative. Experts explained that Shakur doesn't run. He maintains perfect defensive positioning, and there's a massive difference. Running suggests fear and disengagement, while Shakur stays right in the pocket, inches from danger, yet his positioning is so precise that he's essentially unhittable. His sharp, snappy jab was identified as the key weapon that disrupted everything Teofimo tried to do. It was stiff, accurate, and constantly in his face. That level of tactical brilliance prevents an opponent from ever setting their feet. Teofimo attempted to push the pace early, trying to bully Shakur in the first round, but he was quickly discouraged by crisp counterpunches. It wasn't that Teofimo didn't want to fight, it was that every time he tried, he paid a price. The boring label is simply a lazy way of describing a master at work who refuses to let his opponent play their game.
Shakur Stevenson just ended Teofimo Lopez's career. Shakur Stevenson just made a two-time lineal champion look like a complete amateur. Teo's footwork was trash and disgusting.
A 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
Teo's combination punching was trash and disgusting.
A 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
Shakur Stevenson is a defensive wizard. The man's IQ on the offensive end of the game of boxing is at another level. This man, Shakur Stevenson, is a generational talent, and he whooped that man Teo from pillar to post to pillar, and he couldn't stop him. This looked just like Floyd Mayweather versus Arturo Gatti, and I told y'all this how it's going to look. That man, Shakur Stevenson, is at another type of level, and that's bad karma for Teo for saying all that racist stuff. Lord child, congratulations, Shakur Stevenson. Get Teo out of the box.
Get Teofimo out of the box. The aftermath for Teofimo Lopez was painful to watch. We saw a fighter who is normally overflowing with confidence now visibly humbled. In the post-fight interview, he attempted to be gracious, admitting his game plan failed and that the better man won, but the cracks were evident. He mentioned dealing with an injured eye and facial issues, yet stopped short of turning it into a full excuse.
Masterpiece, man. He looked so smooth, calm, and relaxed, man. That was beautiful. That was the one boxing lesson that you future guys, young guys and amateurs just turning pro, watch that, man. That was busy. You heard his father say in the corner, what happened to your fast hands? That didn't work, man.
Just overall, just given the styles in boxing so well, was there any way that Teo could have put on a better performance, a better plan, and gotten a better result?
No, I don't think whatever he would have brought to the table would have worked, man. Shakur just got a great boxing mind. That's just it. He's got a great boxing mind, and once he put his mind to it, he's going to get the job done.
What is it going to take to beat someone like him?
I don't know, man. Probably want to stay away from that kid, man.
Yeah.
However, the tension boiled over at the press conference. Max Kellerman was there as moderator when Teofimo completely lost it, unleashing his frustration on Shakur. It was the reaction of a man who knew he had been humiliated. Saying, "The better man won," is easy, but his body language told a very different story. Teofimo looked like a man realizing, perhaps for the first time, that there are levels to this sport he might never reach. It wasn't just a loss on his record, it was a shattering of his aura.
Easy work. It's level.
finally, we have to consider the view from Shakur's corner. His big brothers in the sport, Terence Crawford and Andre Ward, were ringside music, and their reactions reveal exactly where this is heading. Terence Crawford, widely regarded as a pound-for-pound king, stated plainly that Stevenson isn't just good, he's great. He emphasized Shakur's poise and rhythm as the key differentiators that separate champions from legends.
What did you think of Shakur's performance
He
tonight?
did what he had to do, man. You know, there's always room for improvement. You know, I think he had a lot of stuff he could have did, but he's so talented and gifted, man. You know, you also got to trust what he's seeing in there. You know, we on the outside, you know. But I think he put on a tremendous performance, and obviously, you know, the level he's at, you always look for things he could do better, you know.
What did you see from the outside that he made?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, like I think it was a lot of body work and stuff like that. He could have touched on, but again, he's in there, you know. So he's seeing stuff, he's feeling the punches. We not, so you got to trust what he's seeing.
Teofimo just couldn't get going.
He put on he tried to get going. He just wasn't allowed to. So it's just the distance and range that Shakur has just perfected throughout the years, and then making him pay when he does that discourages him to not want to punch anymore. And I think he was out of answers in the first round. Honestly, I think he didn't really have any answers. When Teo starts doing little certain things with his hands and starts playing the clown game, he out of answers. He's down to just one shot. So Shakur just stayed focused, stayed locked in. And, you know, was at 4 divisions now? 26, 30, 35, 40.
How good is Shakur? I interviewed Terence Crawford
We
and he
don't
said
know.
he could be the
We
greatest
don't
of all
know.
time.
We don't know. He's not done yet. You know, he's not done yet. He's a great for sure. How great, we gonna see. You know, he got a lot. He can box as long as he wants to box because he don't take punishment, and he's a master boxer. You know what I mean? So, just excited for him, man. Happy for him, man. You know, it's hard for me to see my brothers fight when I'm not fighting. That's harder to me than actually fighting because I can't help him. So I'm just happy it's over, man. I'm happy he got the win and get home with them babies, get that check.
Andre Ward, reacting live, was perhaps the most striking voice of all. While he praised Shakur's immense talent, he noted there's still room for improvement, specifically calling for more bodywork. Consider the implications. Shakur just dominated a world-class fighter without even reaching his peak. If Andre Ward is correct and Shakur can still get better, the rest of the division is essentially fighting for second place.
Let's talk a little bit about that performance from Shakur, 119, 109. A lot of people predicted it, the purists saying that he would just be too good. And
Yeah.
like he didn't really have to
Listen, I was fully confident he'd win the fight. I didn't think he'd win it as widely as that. I thought, you know, I mean, look, Teo's a great fighter. He made him look average in there. And that's because Shakur is so good. His IQ is so good. His footwork is so good. I actually think he could have stopped Teo if he would have pushed on the gas a little bit, but didn't need to. It was so easy. He's a 4-division world champion at 28 years of age. Phenomenal.
What was His Excellency saying ringside watching it?
Just that he's so good, you know, and I think sometimes people think that you know, Teo can do a little bit more, but like every time he tried to, he was just getting countered, peppered, and yeah, it was phenomenal to watch.
So where does this leave us? Shakur Stevenson has already set his sights on the future, calling out Conor Benn and chasing the biggest paydays in the sport. The dominance he displayed against Teofimo Lopez has validated even Max Kellerman's boldest claims. You might dislike the defensive style, you might miss the brawls of the past, but you cannot deny its effectiveness. Wade Plemons expanded on this in his reaction, noting that Shakur's defense is likely impenetrable. He also emphasized that Shakur is steadily cementing his status as an elite boxer. Plemons went a step further, analyzing potential opponents who could defeat Stevenson, and it appeared there are none.
Fight ended, and again, it was a one-sided, dominant fight for Shakur Stevenson, and I don't want to take that moment away from him. He absolutely smashed it. Like I said, he may be damn well the best boxer in the world right now. He may not have the accolades of the best, when that would be somebody like an Alexander Usyk. Then again, you know, Shakur's a 4-division world champion. I know I'm one of the people that always clamor about who you beat, not how many belts you won. I think it's far more impressive to talk about the names on your resume and what those names actually equate to versus I got this belt, this belt, this belt, this belt at this division, this division, this division, and the names on the resume don't add up. This is the first massive win for Shakur Stevenson. Teofimo Lopez was a pound-for-pound guy. Now, does that put him in accomplishments in the same place as Alexander Usyk? Or, I mean, Terence Crawford's retired now, but even like a Canelo Alvarez or some of these guys, no. Right? Now, yeah, in a way, no. Shakur does not have those same accomplishments. And his style is not tailored for fan-friendly watching all the time, right? Like an Usyk, like an Inoue. But he may be, if not just as good as them, better. I mean, Name the fighter that's going to take down Shakur Stevenson right now at 140, 147 pounds. Who is it? 135. Who is it? People are saying Tank Davis. I don't know, man. After watching that Lamont Roach fight, I know Tank's got stuff going on with, the law and everything else. I don't know if he'll ever box again, but Tank Davis, that's who it's. You have Conor Benn come into the ring, and listen, I love Conor Benn. I think he's one of the things boxing needs right now, an explosive, fiery guy, fights with the heart on his sleeve. He's a dog in there. Even if he loses, he's gonna make a fight an absolute war, and he's entertaining to watch. But can anyone seriously look at me and say that Conor Benn is gonna have the skills to pay the bills when it comes to Shakur Stevenson? Do we confidently go, yeah, oh, that's the matchup we want to see? I think Shakur would probably do the same thing to Conor Benn. And again, I love Conor. Conor's awesome.
Max Kellerman risked his credibility by comparing a young fighter to Floyd Mayweather, but after that performance, it might be the safest bet in Vegas. The question isn't whether Shakur can become a legend, it's whether anyone in the world can actually make him break a sweat. Max believes the answer is no, and right now, it's hard to argue with him. But what do you think? Is Shakur Stevenson truly unbeatable? Is there any fighter who could defeat him? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming content. Don't forget to share your opinions in the comments, and stay tuned. We'll see you in the next video.